Bassmasters Classic, the World Championship of Professional Bass Angling. The 15th annual Test of the Best, where America's greatest bass anglers go rod to rod for 3 days to prove who's the best. History was made last year on this same 94-mile stretch of the Arkansas River near Pine Bluff, Arkansas, when Rick Clunn won an unprecedented 3rd World Championship with a record catch of 75 pounds 9 ounces. Many wonder if Clunn can do it again, if he can break his own record, whether his 50-yard stretch of drop-off structure only 3 minutes from the launch site will once again mean the Classic crown. But it's never over till it's over, not until the last cast. There are many here who have proved they can make the winning casts. Former Classic champions like Bo Dowden, Paul Elias, Larry Nixon, Tommy Martin, and Hank Parker. And those who have proved they have the right stuff by winning Bass Angler Sportsman Society tournaments, but never the big one, never the Bassmasters Classic, never this World Championship. Time-tested pros like Roland Martin, the greatest bass angler in the history of professional bass fishing. He's won 16 Bassmaster titles, more than $280,000, and captured the coveted Bass Angler of the Year title 9 unprecedented times, but never the Classic crown, not in 13 tries. Ricky Green, the only Bassmaster to qualify 14 consecutive years for the Classic. Local favorite George Cochran, who calls the Arkansas River his home water. And the angler many of the pros here call the bridesmaid, Jack Chancellor of Phenix City, Alabama. He's never won a B.A.S.S tournament, but he's come so close, so often. 3rd in the 1981 Classic, 2nd in 1982. And even though Chancellor was the only angler to limit out for 3 days in the recent Chattanooga Invitational, that great effort was worth only 2nd place. A Classic field. 35 top-ranked pros who claimed their Classic invitation by fishing head-to-head in 6 qualifying tournaments on the road to the Classic. There are 5 other contestants, 5 anglers who earned their right to be here by traveling another tournament trail, the B.A.S.S Federation route. Jeff Boyer of Washington State, Dave Hall of Pennsylvania, Jerry Harmon of Illinois, John Hunt from Tennessee, and Arkansas's Grayson Tobler. Many say it's the toughest way to reach the Classic, and Jeff Boyer explains why.
Well, of course, the Federation system is the reason that I'm here, and it's surely an honor to be here, no matter, whether you qualify through the Federation or qualify through the ranks of the pros. But I personally feel that even though they had to do a tremendous amount of fishing to get their spots in the Classic, the Federation anglers have even a tougher road to hoe, so to speak, because whereas they had 35 slots to qualify, they had 35 chances to get here, I myself only had 1. Being from the Western region, I had to be the top man on the winning team for the Western region, as did the other 4 gentlemen that are here representing their regions. And in order to do that, of course, you have to fish a state championship. You first have to qualify even to fish that state championship, and then fish the state tournament and make that team, and then fish the Western region and have your team win that region and then be the top man on your team. And to do all that takes a little bit of skill, but it also takes a lot of luck and a lot of good fortune, and fortunately I was that person this year, and very proud to represent those people, and I'll be looking forward to representing them to the best of my ability this coming week at the Bassmaster Classic.
Stay on board. The Bassmasters World Championship will be right back from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Before the start of this World Championship, there are practice days, and this is one of them. Hot and still, and for many, fishless. For those Bassmasters who fish this river in pre-practice, they're finding it's changed greatly. What had been productive areas less than a month ago no longer produce. For many who did pre-practice, it's now a situation of starting over, attempting to put together different fish-catching patterns. Classic qualifiers are prohibited from fishing the tournament waters or within a 75-mile radius of Pine Bluff for 14 days prior to the event. The contestants are also restricted as to the amount of tackle they each can bring. Only 10 pounds of artificial lures, along with 5 reel and rod combinations. They're also not permitted to use nets to boat their fish, and instead must land them by hand. They fish out of identically rigged classic boats and fish each day with a member of the invited press. The 94 press observers are paired with the pros during the classic. Each press angler is allowed to bring one fish to the scales the day they fish. If it's the largest press bass that day, the angler and his pro fisherman divide $1,000. Many press anglers, however, only fish during the practice days, and there's a good reason. The one fish a press angler might catch during the actual 3-day competition could mean the difference in winning and losing for the pro angler in the front of the boat. That one fish could be the difference between the $50,000 first place money and the $12,000 second place purse in this $125,000 World Championship event. Day 1 of Classic 85 starts with a near tragedy. As Jack Chancellor and his press partner Shirley Gardenhire of Chattanooga, Tennessee, travel to the launch site, a large winch hook flies through the front window of the tow vehicle, showering them with glass. Several slivers stick in Chancellor's eyes. A nurse at the launch site removes them, and Chancellor, shaken but uninjured, starts the day. Although it's early in the 15th annual Classic, the 40 fishermen are keeping an eye on the weather as forecasters chart the movement of Hurricane Danny. Even though Pine Bluff is too far inland to be affected greatly, weathermen are calling for heavy overcast, wind, and the possibility of up to 8 inches of rain. It will make a difference.
First fish of the class.
Ricky Green, fishing one of the countless logs he planted on Bear Flats, is feeling the frustration of knowing the fish have been here. Green caught 2 fish over 5 pounds on back-to-back casts during practice on one of the logs. But today is different.
All right, here he comes, folks. Let's give this man a great hand. He had a tough day out there with the rocks coming through the windshield. Hold him up. Be proud. All right.
Look at the camera. I am proud of him.
Jack, what did you think this morning when that missile came through the window? Somebody shooting at you?
Well, no, my wife was a little mad at me when I left, so I thought she might have been over in the bushes throwing rocks at me, but it wasn't.
Well, you're in great shape. Now, you have a limited bass, 7 bass, 7 alive, and you've got to beat to pull in the lead Charlie Ingram's weight of 13 pounds, 11 ounces. All right. 16 pounds, 14 ounces. 16, 14, you're in the lead.
I guess that old saying that everything that starts out bad winds up good is true, isn't it?
Well, it's true today.
Yeah.
California's 29-year-old Gary Klein, the youngest angler to ever win a B.A.S.S tournament at age 21, posts the day's leading score with 17 pounds, 2 ounces, just 4 ounces ahead of Jack Chancellor. Stay with us. The best of the Bassmasters will be right back. While the majority of these Bassmasters Classic anglers are fishing shallow, there is one who is not, Jack Chancellor. Jack's a river fisherman, a structure fisherman who prefers deeper drop-offs to fish his do-nothing worm. He rigs his short 4-inch plastic worm by first sliding on a 1-ounce weight to 20-pound line, then a bead, and then tying the line to a barrel swivel. The bead keeps the weight from sliding down on the swivel. Chancellor then ties a 4-foot leader line on the double hook-rigged worm to the other end of the swivel. He calls it a do-nothing rig because the lure is simply reeled in and does not have any action. Jack seldom sets the hook because the strike is usually too light to notice. He just keeps reeling and catching fish. One of 10 rookies in the 1985 Classic, Jimmy Atkinson, started today in 4th place. What happened to this 36-year-old Texas angler on day 2 of the Classic can only be described as the agony of angling. wind and rain. But the forecast is changing. Hurricane Danny is moving away, and the weather watchers are now calling for clearing skies later today. But the cloudy weather still has the fish scattered, changing the game plans of these classic anglers. But somewhere, someone always finds them.
7 bass, another limit, all alive, folks. All right, we've got a limit of bass, folks. A big limit, Harold Sharp said. All right. 19 pounds, 10 ounces. Boy, that's doing it.
Well, I don't know what to say.
We've got one big bass, the real big bass of the crowd, largest of the stringer. The weight, 4 pounds, 12 ounces, and the biggest today is 5'2". Nevertheless, hold these fish up and get a nice quick photograph, folks. This may be your leader for the day. Huh?
I hope so.
Tell us real quick, tell us what you did today. It was terrible weather. The wind was blowing, waves are lapping against your boat.
Well, I had to run a long ways, and it's kind of rough with the rain beating you in the face. And when I got there, the place that I've been lining up on this one spot, the core boat was there, and they had moved a buoy. So I lined up, and it was in the wrong place. So it took me a few minutes to get back on them, and about the second cast, I caught the biggest there. And I had a limit at 9:30.
9:30, you had a limit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I went to my number 2 hole, and I culled 3 fish out of there.
You caught and culled 3 bass from that second hole.
Right. I think that might turn into my number 1 hole tomorrow.
How do you feel about tomorrow? You realize this is a 3-day competition, and you've got a lot of guys that are, no question about it, behind you, breathing on your heels.
Oh, I know. I feel like it's going to be probably 6 or 8 people that's in a position to win the tournament after the day's over. But unless something real bad happens, I feel like I can catch another limit.
Think you can win this classic?
I think if I catch another stringer like that, I will.
What's your confidence level? You going back and do that? You going to go out with the same enthusiasm, or you think you may have already caught all those fish?
No, I haven't caught them all. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow I did today, as far as the places I fished. Unless both of those play out, and then I've got 2 more places I hadn't hit yet.
2 more places you haven't even been to?
Yeah, right. I don't know if they have many bass in them or not, but it's, where I caught a couple in practice.
Folks, let's wish him well. All right, Jack Chancellor, congratulations to you, Jack. That's a good job. Of course,
stay on board. The Bassmasters will be right back with the exciting conclusion of Classic 85. The final morning of the 1985 Classic Quest. Although Jack Chancellor's 11-pound lead is substantial, there are many here who have proved they can make a hard run toward the gold in the closing hours. Anglers like former Classic champion Tommy Martin.
Going into the last day and in 4th place, and the area I'm fishing, I've caught all my fish out of one small area the last 2 days, and I really don't feel like there's a big string of fish in this area. In other words, I don't think I can catch much over 20 pounds if I had an excellent day. But it looks like Jack Chancellor, if he catches another 10 to 12 pounds, he's surely going to win the Classic. But I'm sort of fishing for 2nd place. Not that I don't stand a chance to win, but there's a lot of money even in 2nd place. So I'll look to try to catch another limit of bass out of my area that will weigh somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds today, and I just hope they're going to bite.
Clear and calm, and no current on the river. Shutting off the river's flow can drastically affect the outcome of this last competition day. As many of the leaders lock through for the last run of 40 miles downstream to their fishing holes, they know what a no-current situation can mean. Jack Chancellor's fish require current, or they won't hold on the sandbar he's fishing near the Arkansas River channel. The water in Tommy Martin's log and brush-filled creek will fall some 3 feet, pulling the bass off the banks to offshore structure. It also affects Steve Daniels' fish which have been reliable enough to give the young Tennessee rookie 2 consecutive limits, a feat that only Chancellor has equaled. At the final weigh-in, more than 2,000 spectators are turned away as the Pine Bluff Convention Center overflows with some 7,500 cheering fans on this last afternoon of Classic 85. Mr. Bass, Ray Scott, is joined on the weigh-in stage by Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton and golf champion Curtis Strange, the leading money winner on the Professional Golf Association Tour and an avid fisherman. They await the champion. Rick Clunn will not win his 4th Bassmasters Classic Championship. But as he stands in defeat, the '84 world champion once again stills the capacity crowd.
So I'd like to also take the opportunity just to speak to the young people in the crowd, the young fisher persons that are here. You know, maybe I'm a good example to point out that you don't catch them all the time. And I don't care who you are, how good you are, it's not going to happen. So don't really get frustrated at yourself when you're trying to learn how to catch these funny little green fish that we chase. There's nothing wrong with failing, you know. Just don't quit and don't give up. And if you go out there and try your best, some days you do and some days you don't. But try to learn every day, and then next time maybe you'll be up here breaking the record the next time. Thanks again. My family and I will always be indebted to the people of Arkansas and Pine Bluff. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky.
Unlike last year with Clunn's commanding lead, this championship is close, right down to the wire.
All right, we're going to watch this scale. This is critical. Now, we're talking about $125,000 worth of money. Governor, you got to have a little help there. That's a heavy bag of fish. All right, watch him close, folks. Remember, he's got to have 17 pounds to pull it to the lead. $17-2. $17-2.
And now Jack Chancellor, always a Bass and bridesmaid.
There he is, folks, our leader, Jack Chancellor.
Will he finally do it? He must have fish to win.
I believe that's going to be enough to win this tournament. Every fish measured and every fish alive. All right, now, what's he got to have? You said 4 pounds. Well, I know he's got that. The question is how much. Now, let's add it up quickly when he comes off here. He has 36 pounds and 8 ounces before he started today. Are you ready? Jack Chancellor, it's a $50,000 sack of fish. Eight pounds, 8 ounces. He is the winner of the 1985 Bassmaster Classic. Tracy's by himself. His boys are, there's a family at work, folks. Everyone I work together.
I caught my fish on a do nothing worm. I really felt that when I said that on the first day of the tournament that nobody would believe me. But I always tell what I catch my fish on, whether they're one of my baits or some of the other fine company's baits. I guess the person that I owe the most to is probably my mama. She used to take me fishing when I was an infant. She put me in a picnic basket and put me up under a shade tree. And while she fished in a pond, and she taught me just about everything I know. My daddy taught me a little bit. I'm just so excited, I really don't know what to say. I've been trying to do this for several years. It feels real good.
The last cast. It's over. Classic 85 is history. Jack Chancellor, no longer a bridesmaid.
Jack Chancellor, you've won it all, finally. What's it feel like?
Ray, it feels terrific. It's the best day of my life. I've come close several times, and I've missed it, and I've thought about quitting before. I think all fishermen probably dream of doing what I did today, and I finally did, and I just feel terrific.
You're $50,000 richer, and you have the respect of everybody in the Bass Angler Sportsman Society and every fisherman across the country.
Well, that's, you know, that's probably going to be hard to get used to. You know, Paul, Elias, and myself, we room together all the time. People are always coming up to Paul and getting his autograph and everything, and I just kind of stand back in the shadows and kind of caddy for Paul, but maybe they'll recognize me now.
All right, congratulations to you, and the best of luck to you and the family.
Jack Chancellor, the world champion, a bass angler who has served his apprenticeship with the champion's role these past 9 years. A fisherman who's gathered from the wreck and ruin of failure the elements that turn defeat into victory. And with the courage and endurance of a champion, Jack Chancellor proved here today that he is the best of the best.